clock again. I'll be right here hoping I can be a better man.
Tell me about the guitars that you used on the album.
Well, it's really weird. I collect a lot of guitars, and not because I'm into guitars as a collector. Because I produce a lot for other people, I find that it's just like having lots and lots of paintbrushes, you know, and they're all different. And there's something like around 50 odd guitars at the studio, all different, you know, kind of things. I ended up using the same Gibson songwriter guitar for the entire album this time. I didn't, because I wasn't working in my studio. I didn't take anything, you know, except one or two guitars, and so that was kind of, and it felt right because I wrote the record on it. So I just wanted that to be the sound of the record. And it's just like a guitar I throw around on the plane and the truck on tour, and it's a bit beat up and rattly, and something nice about it, you know. And I have some really, really nice, beautiful guitars too, but that was the one that made sense. And then a lot of the electric guitars that I used was mostly, I have a pink Strat that I built, and that's largely the guitar I used. And I don't go anywhere without my country gen, and you know. So, but I had Glenn Hanna playing a lot of the guitars on this record, and he played on my first album, you know, 15 years ago or something, 12 years ago, whatever it was. And so he brought all his stuff in as well. And I mean, in the end, it was almost impossible at the end to figure out who played what, because Matt plays a whole ton of instruments, and I do, and so does Glenn. And so at the end, when I was doing the credits, it was almost impossible. I couldn't itemize everything because we couldn't figure out who did what. And there was so many ideas flying around and people playing. It was really. But essentially, the irony is that between us, we have, you know, 100 guitars, and there's about 4 on the album.
With an album like that, with various spread instruments, the mixing stages is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that blend. Did you find that you'd spent a hell of a lot of time mixing this album compared to others?
No, it was actually the way Matt works is he mixes as he goes, pretty much. So the final mix actually only took like, you know, a couple of days, because as the record is developing, he kind of mixes as he goes, because he works largely in the box. So which is where when I mix at my studio, I'm all out of the box. So I'm still a little bit old school with that, but the benefits of working the way Matt does is exactly that. You can kind of, as you're progressing, you can actually hear the record as it's going to sound, you know. And so when we were tracking the record and doing overdubs and putting other instruments on, you're actually finding the right place in the mix for them right then and there, and, you know, treating them for the mix. And so the actual mix is not so much of a separate process, you know, which is really interesting, which is the way he always works. And I didn't want to upset his, you know, the modus operandi, and that's what he does, and I wanted to go with it. So it was a really interesting way to do it, but it also makes you know exactly where you're going, you know, where the record's going, and because the mix can drastically change a record, you know. But this time it was evolving as we went, and so pretty much when I left the studio after recording the album, it was 85%, you know, ready, you know. So then it was just a few tweaks to be made. So the mixing was actually really, really quick and short. I didn't even go for it, you know, because I didn't have to. It's kind of done.
The great thing about having a new album is that you've got new songs to play live. Is there any particular song on the album that you're really looking forward to playing live?
Well, I'm actually really looking forward to playing anything off the record after this amount of time. It's just great to be armed with a whole batch of new songs, you know, on the road, because it's always, every songwriter will always tell you it's their favourite songs to play are the newest, you know. I think I've just been playing Secondhand Man quite a lot lately because it's a single, right? And so I'm actually really enjoying that. I'm really finding that. I never thought of that as a single when I wrote it, but it's really kind of evolved. It's taken on a whole new life now, and I'm really enjoying that. And I'm glad I wrote it in B flat, because it's easier to sing in the morning when you're on early morning radio. It's not too high. It was an added bonus.
That's a mental note for the future.
Yeah. Stop writing in high keys, because those morning breakfast things are killer.
So leave a light on, go unlock the door. a space for my old boots on the floor. Though the first race never ran to plan, I drive alright for a second-hand man.
What are you most proud of musically?
I think I'm most proud of the fact that I've found my rut now, my groove. You know I've tried a lot of different styles and genres in the past, but it's always kind of been connected. I think there's still a middle ground between them all. But now, certainly with this record, and obviously with all the production work's a big part of my life now, possibly even bigger than me being an artist and making my own records. I kind of work at almost like a day job. I have my own studio and I make records for other people, and that's largely what I do. And between all that work and the work that I'm doing on my own now, I feel like I've kind of spearheaded what I'm about, and I feel really comfortable in that. And I'm proud of all the work I've done in the past, all my records and everything I've made. But I do feel like this record is a start of a new career. It's like almost like a defining point where I feel like it's a summation of all those other records, and they were like practice runs, and this is kind of I finally go, okay, now I know what I do and who I am and how to do it. And I'm proud of that, to have gotten to that point, because it's taken 20 years, or longer to get there. I mean, it's like 24 years since my first recording now, so, and it's been, like with every musician, it's been a slog, and there's so many points along that journey that you could very easily stop the journey and not get to this point now. So I'm just really proud of the fact that I've made it to this point and feel really positive and not just satisfied with what I've done, but positive about what I've got to come, So that feels like an achievement to me.
And what's on for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year, I'm just going to be touring as much as possible to promote the record. Obviously, make the most of it. I'm really proud of it, so I want to take it out on the road to as many places and people as I can. And I've also got some more production. I've still got another 2 or 3 albums to make this year for other people in between touring. So it's just music, and I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way.